If there is one palm-colored person that every black person, especially black men, should hate with every fiber of their being, it is this one on your screen. Now, if you do not know who this is none other than D.W. Griffith, also known to me as one of America's first propaganda artists. Now, if y'all were around on my original channel a couple years ago, back in, I want to say 2017, I did a series of videos in the month of June called White History Month. And on the last day of the month, I highlighted D.W. Griffith and his propaganda film known as Birth of a Nation. It's pretty much known as one of the first feature films that was ever shown in America. And it was shown in the White House. That was like the first place that they showed it at. And it's still held up to this day as one of the most iconic films of all time, believe it or not. I could not get through 5 minutes of a 3-hour film. It was so cringy. And I just had to settle for looking at just clips whenever they would talk about it, maybe in documentaries or something like that. And that alone, was enough for me to just be like, look, I can't watch this. It's so much propaganda in there. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the reason why I call it one of the original propaganda piece is because of how it highlighted black men. Now, of course, back then, black people could not be in television or movies or even stage plays. So what they did was they hired white actors to paint their face, most likely using some kind of a polish, to make themselves appear black. And what they'll do is they will portray black men as these big black boogeymen whose sole mission was to go out there and rape a PC woman. I remember it was a clip that I saw where you had this person who was dressed in blackface, pretending to be a black guy, had his eyes bucked wide open. I mean, if they were bucked so high and so wide that I'm surprised his eyes did not pop out of his sockets. And you had the PC woman right there running for her life, and then to avoid having to be captured by this so-called black man, she jumps off of a cliff into her death. And then in comes the PC Knight, the palm-colored knights, known as the Klan, to come and get him and then sentence him to death for attempting to rape this woman. This movie not only was a propaganda piece against black men, but it was also a propaganda piece to prop up and bring the Klan back into the fold as these good people when we know damn well they were not. That film right there is what kicked it all off. Just in case y'all did not know, the film Birth of a Nation, not the one that Nate Parker did, of course not, but this one right here is what kicked the propaganda off against black men. And in the stuff that you see today can all be led back to that film. The making of black men look like boogeymen, the making of the PC woman look like the damsel in distress, the Klan who's basically who has infiltrated every corner of government, whether it's small or large. Like, it's literally right there. I mean, if you can stomach watching that movie, even though if it's 3 hours long, more power to you. But I couldn't watch it. I couldn't, because like I said, it was filled with nothing but a bunch of lies. Of course, back then, PC people believed those lies because of how it made us look, even though they knew it was a bunch of lies. But that set up a precedence not only for what's going on today, but throughout history since that movie came out. And it just carried over and over and over. I'm not saying that there probably wasn't any propaganda pieces that occurred before this, but this one right here was a major one because it was in the form of media. It was in the form of media, and a new form of media that had not been seen before. One that could really get out to the masses. But yeah, I blame this guy, the original propaganda artist. If anybody asks you who was the original propaganda artist, just say it was this guy, D.W. Griffin, and you tell them why he was. Because he created that piece of crap film that unfortunately was made to really demonize black men and to humanize themselves. It all started there. Unfortunately, it didn't end there. It, like I said, what happened in that film carried over for generations and generations and generations, even still to this day.